The heavy rain slammed against the windows as Zina froze beside the half-open study door. Inside the dark office, Damian's voice dropped into a cold whisper. "Transfer everything before sunrise," he said into the phone. "By tomorrow night, the chief will be begging in the streets." Zina's heartbeat nearly stopped. Just hours earlier, the entire town of Obinze had celebrated her engagement to the man everyone called the perfect groom. Wealthy, charming, educated, generous. But standing there in silence, listening to the venom in his voice, she realized she was about to marry a monster. And Damian had no idea she had everything. Chief Maduka Izenwa was the richest man in Obinze. When he walked through the village square, people stepped aside before he even spoke. His flowing robes glittered under sunlight, and his laughter carried across compounds like thunder. He loved power. He loved respect. But above everything else, he loved showing people how important he was. His greatest pride was his daughter, Zina. Zina was unlike most women in the village. Calm, sharp, brilliant. She had studied software engineering and cybersecurity in Abuja and graduated at the top of her class. But to Chief Maduka, her intelligence was only valuable because it attracted wealthy men. One day, he often said proudly, "A billionaire will marry my daughter." Zina hated hearing it. One evening during dinner, Chief Maduka dropped his spoon and smiled proudly. "The New Yam Festival is next week," he announced. "Important men are coming from Lagos and Abuja to meet you." Zina looked up slowly. "Meet me for what?" "For marriage, of course." Her face hardened immediately. "Father, I'm not a business contract." Chief Maduka laughed loudly. "Love does not feed a family. Money does. Character matters too." "Character," he scoffed. "Poor men talk about character because they have nothing else." Zina pushed her plate away. "And what if a rich man is dangerous?" Chief Maduka pointed at her sharply. "Enough. You will choose one of them. If you refuse, I will choose for you." Zina said nothing after that. She already knew arguing with her father was like arguing with a wall. The festival arrived with noise and luxury. Expensive SUVs flooded Obinze. Politicians, businessmen, socialites, and influencers filled the village square. Traditional drummers played while champagne bottles popped in every corner. Then Damian arrived. Not in a convoy. Not with bodyguards. He rode into the square alone on a black vintage motorcycle. People turned instantly. He stepped off calmly, removed his gloves, and smiled like a man who feared nothing. His dark designer suit fit perfectly, and his wristwatch alone probably cost more than some houses in Obinze. Chief Maduka was impressed immediately. "My friend," the chief shouted, embracing him. "Welcome." Damian smiled respectfully. "It is an honor to be here, Chief." Within minutes, Damian charmed everyone. He donated money to the festival publicly. He greeted elders respectfully. He spoke confidently about international business and mining contracts. But Zina noticed something strange. Damian never relaxed. Even while smiling, his eyes constantly scanned the environment. Entrances, security guards, cameras, windows. At one point during the celebration, she caught him staring at her father's private office hallway. When he noticed her watching him, he smiled instantly. Too instantly. That night, Zina sat quietly in her room replaying everything in her mind. Something was wrong. Days later, Damian proposed publicly during another celebration. The villagers screamed with excitement as he slid a massive diamond ring onto Zina's finger. Chief Maduka nearly cried from happiness. "This is the kind of man I prayed for," he boasted proudly. But Zina forced her smile. As wedding preparations continued, Damian's strange behavior became impossible to ignore. Every night, he disappeared for secret phone calls. He carried 2 phones. Sometimes 3. He became unusually interested in Chief Maduka's security arrangements. How many guards protect the compound at night? He casually asked one evening. Chief Maduka laughed proudly. Enough to stop an army. Damian smiled. Good. A man must protect his wealth. Another night, Zina woke up thirsty around 2:45 a.m. while walking downstairs for water. She noticed light under the study door. She moved closer quietly. Damian sat alone inside with a laptop open. Lines of financial information flashed across the screen. Bank accounts. Passwords. Transfer codes. Then she heard the sentence that changed everything. After the wedding, we empty the accounts and disappear before sunrise. Zina's blood ran cold. The next morning, she acted normal. She smiled. She laughed. She even allowed Damian to kiss her hand during breakfast. But inside, her mind was already moving. That night, she locked herself in her room and opened her laptop. Hours passed. She hacked into Damian's emails first. Then his cloud storage. Then encrypted files hidden behind fake company documents. What she discovered terrified her. Damian wasn't a businessman. His real name was Kelvin Soro. A wanted cybercriminal linked to financial theft and diamond smuggling across West Africa. Police in 3 countries were searching for him. Zina covered her mouth in shock as she watched a hidden video file. Damian sat in a luxury apartment laughing beside stacks of stolen cash. Rich people are the easiest to rob, he said proudly in the recording. Their greed blinds them. Zina's eyes burned with anger. Her father's greed had invited a predator into their home. But Damian had made one mistake. He underestimated her. For 3 straight nights, Zina barely slept. She tracked offshore accounts, copied transaction records, and secretly contacted Inspector Tate Bello from the cybercrime division. You're telling me your fiancé is Kelvin Soro? The inspector asked in disbelief. Yes. And you have evidence. Enough to bury him forever. Together, they built a trap. Meanwhile, Damian grew more confident. Sometimes he even mocked Chief Maduka secretly. These old men worship money too much, he told Zina during a late-night drive. Once you understand greed, controlling people becomes easy. Zina stared at him quietly. And what about love? Damian smirked. Love is useful. Nothing more. That was the moment every remaining feeling inside her died. Wedding day finally arrived. The entire village exploded with celebration. Dancers filled the compound. Music blasted from giant speakers. Luxury cars lined every road. Chief Maduka stood proudly before the crowd in royal attire. My daughter has married greatness, he announced loudly. Damian smiled beside him confidently. But hidden among the guests were undercover officers. Watching. Waiting. During the reception, Damian slipped away briefly and opened his phone. Final transfer initiated. Billions of naira began moving from hidden accounts connected to Chief Maduka's businesses. Damian returned smiling. It's done, he whispered to Zina. By tomorrow morning, your father loses everything. Zina stared at him calmly. No, she said softly. You already lost. Damian frowned slightly. What? Zina reached into her purse and pulled out another phone. On the screen was a live recording of every transaction he had just attempted. His face changed instantly. You. Before he could finish speaking, the music suddenly stopped. The crowd turned in confusion. Then armed officers emerged from different corners of the venue. Kelvin Soro. Inspector Tate shouted. You are under arrest. Panic exploded everywhere. Guests screamed. Chief Maduka stumbled backward in shock. Damian tried to run, but officers tackled him hard into the muddy ground before he reached the gate. You set me up, he roared at Zina. Her eyes remained cold. You came to destroy my family, she replied. I just finished the game first. The villagers watched in disbelief as officers dragged Damian away in handcuffs. His expensive white suit was covered in mud. The powerful billionaire image vanished completely. Chief Maduka could barely speak. For the first time in years, the mighty chief looked small. Months later, Obinze still talked about the wedding scandal. But slowly, shame turned into pride. Using reward money from the arrest, Zina launched her own cybersecurity company. Young girls from nearby villages began coming to learn technology from her. One evening, Chief Maduka sat quietly beside his daughter outside their compound. I spent years chasing wealthy men, he admitted softly. Yet the strongest person in this family was you. Zina smiled gently. And for once, her father finally saw her not as a trophy, but as a force. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, what would you have done if you discovered your fiancé's terrifying secret before the wedding?